What's going on, world? It's your boy Kuya P. This is the NRW. Nerds rule the world, back to give you another amazing interview. Y'all know I love talking to my fellow creatives as an Asian American creative, as well as a filmmaker, actor, producer. I love when I can speak to my other brethren that are out here fighting the good fight for that representation, which means so much. So I'm so excited to welcome Jason Wayne Wong, who is an accomplished actor who you've seen on Freeform's Good Trouble, Here TV's Not So Straight in Silverlake, HBO Max's The Flight Attendant. I love that show. NBC's This Is Us, ABC's A Million Little Things, CW's The Flash, Hulu's Chance, and recently on Netflix's I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. He is also an accomplished publisher who recently helped publish his late husband's book called Jim Nawrocki. His name is Jim Nawrocki, and he produced his book House Fire, which is a collection of poems and stories. We're going to get all into it. I'm so excited and so delighted to have Mr. Jason Wayne Wong, who you're about to see on the screen right now. There you go. I'm shooting off air horns, Jason. It's not on right now. It's going to be in post because we love to give love and light and flowers to our special guests. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. And my apologies if I messed up a little bit. I just try to give all the love as it is when I have such special guests such as yourself. So thank you so much. So let's get into it. As I stated, I'm an Asian creative as well. And I know I've fought my battles. What brings me in front of you right now as a host and communicating with you is on the acting front. There's very little roles for us. And it's hard and it's stereotypical. We get more no's than yeses, which is really all acting. That's very much the case for anybody that chooses that path. But then I think there's another case for us as Asian Americans within that sphere. And then I know for yourself, on being LGBTQI, being part of that community can be difficult. It's just so many hurdles that we have to jump. And let's start there. For me, what brought me in front of you right now is because of those hurdles. I was like, you know what? I still want to keep my energy going, my vibe, and talk to my community. Why not I do things like this? Highlight my fellow actors and filmmakers that are out here in the trenches and give love and light to them, because I know they're not always getting spotlighted. So that was what brings me to you. And thank you again for sharing with me your journey in this career path.
Well, thank you. And it's because, we're still jumping those hurdles. We're still fighting for representation. A pilot that I shot has been making the film festival circuit recently, and we just had our West Coast premiere at Dances with Films here in LA this last weekend. And the response that we got, not just from the LGBT community, but also from communities of color, is that you can have a romantic lead played by an Asian man.
Yes.
And it seemed kind of mind-blowing for a lot of people, but it's possible, and we're out there.
So true. It's crazy. And and so I think in a lot of ways for myself, I with not getting the roles, I was like, okay, then I'm going to get behind the camera, help write and do that journey, do Zoom interviews, which the pandemic kind of brought to my fold. And that has been amazing and so inspiring. I think you were saying, I don't know if you're in LA, but I know you also live in Canada. Through these Zoom conversations, there's so many ways we can interact with people on different coasts.
Definitely. I mean, it's the way to bring us together and to know what we're all doing, because so many of us are out there working on these different projects, but how do you find out about them? How do you publicize them? How do you, get in touch with each other and become a part of this and tap into this big, larger community?
Completely agree. So with that being said, something has been on top of mind that I like to bring into this conversation. And as we stated earlier, it's difficult, with the other hats that we have to have in this industry in regards to our individual selves and being proud of who we are. Because I'm so very proud of who I am. But then it's those difficulties that we face. What do you do to stay positive? And I bring this up because like last week, I think for you as well, I think any of us that get into this industry, we're empaths. We feel everything in the world. I am such an empath. I am so emotional. Everybody will tell you about that. And last week, what really broke my heart up. I know you're Asian Canadian, but like here recently, I live in the DC area
Mhm.
and travel a lot, but here in the DC area, we had like Supreme Court decisions. I'm like,
Yeah.
where is the world going right now? Just recent ones with affirmative action and how the Asian community was involved with that. With LGBTQ rights and the like. How do you stay positive when, I don't know, to me, like I was just like, I needed to just put things to the side. It breaks me down, but then I get inspired again to like, you know what, the work that I'm doing is going to help change the world and help influence and inspire the next generation to surpass things like this. I'm curious for you, how do you stay strong?
It's hard because it's so much easier to just kind of give up and to just retreat and to let your world shrink and to just kind of live in a bubble. It's so tempting to do that, but we can't. We have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just existing and to continue telling our stories and to get everything out there. The more that we can show the rest of the world that we're out there, that we are part of society, not just in Canada, but also in the US. I was born and raised in California. I just happen to be a dual citizen. But it's always been a challenge to find that representation. And we're making strides. You have to admit that there's more out there than there has been in the past. And we just have to keep building on those gains.
Completely agree. So when you're broken or you feel, what do you do to channel your energy? How do you stay positive?
It's kind of hard because I mean, most of the time I do just kind of retreat. At least I give myself a little pity party, for a second or
Yeah,
maybe a day. But you just have to get out there again. And whether it's finding small things to promote, whether it's on social media or just calling up a friend and saying, "Hey, let's talk about something. Let's get the creative juices flowing. Let's start collaborating on something." It just gets things started. And I think when you put it out there in the world, it comes back to you.
completely agree.
I
Completely
hope.
agree. I feel it. Well, if you ever needed somebody to talk to, I think that also as Asian men in our community,
Yes.
we try to just stay, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. But it's okay to not be okay. And that's what I'm finding for myself a lot. I used to have, I'm raised on the East Coast, the bravado, the hip hop nature. I'm a big hip hop guy. But no, I'm not okay. So it's always good to have these conversations and support each other. What I wanted to segue from this as well is, my condolences to your late husband. But what I thought so beautiful and so strong of you was he didn't get to see this final book, House Fire. He was collecting all this work together, and in a way for you to kind of, show your ongoing love and infinite love to him. You continued the project on and you saw it to print. Can you talk about, and if you don't mind, I know I hate to talk about loss, but I think it's also inspiring and so important. And I think it's just so beautiful of you.
And it coincidentally, it happened around the time that Patton Oswalt was putting together his late wife's book and putting that out. And I was surprised to come across another book by an author and illustrator named Jonathan Santlofer called The Widower's Notebook. And both of them talk about how this continuation of their late spouse's work is a way to honor them. And it's a way to get a certain kind of closure or a certain kind of acceptance around it. And in doing that, I mean, I made it my mission to try and get my husband's work published afterwards, because he had spent his entire life, being published in magazines and anthologies and literary journals and online, but to have everything compiled in a book just meant so much to him. And I knew it was going to mean so much to him that it became my mission after he passed away.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Again, everybody, as you see, I have it right behind me, House Fire. And I will also have the links in the description below for y'all to go and purchase this book. Please check it out. Give it a read. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm looking forward to giving a read myself. So beautiful of you, Jason, to see it through. I love that. Again, just I would feel so crushed in this incident. So to do that is just so beautiful. And I think, like I think I saw in the write up that I got from you, it's only right to just do the same and see it through. And I love that you did that, and it's so inspiring. As an actor and creative as well, and now with this work, one of the things that also thought that came to pass was You're creative. Would you also like to see maybe translate? You help see it through from a publishing standpoint. Are there any stories of his that you may also want to bring to the screen?
It's only been recently that I've been thinking about that, and in light of what's been going on within the industry, and we talk about it, you mentioned it before, but how to create stories in order to give ourselves work, because we're not going to be able to. We can't just wait for projects to fall into our laps. We need to make things happen. And it's only been recently, while publicizing my husband's book, that I've actually thought some of the stories actually would make amazing films or shorts themselves. So yeah, it is something that's on top of my mind right now.
Oh, awesome. I'd love to see it. I just love, just the fact that this was able to come together and you did that. To then continuing on the spirit would just be lovely. And I'd love to show love and light and support that as well. So going back to filmmaking and acting, what got you into filmmaking? I'm curious what inspired you. I know for us, as Asian Americans, there were few and far between representation that we saw on the screen. I know for me, George Takei on Star Trek was as Sulu was an image that just blew my mind in like regards to the sci-fi realm. And then we had Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. But then after a while, it felt like every Asian just had to know karate, and we couldn't be more than that. And that was heartbreaking, if you could express some of your love and what you want to do as an actor and as an Asian American actor as well.
I think it's a path that a lot of us end up kind of following. It's this path to make our families happy or to make society happy.
Yeah.
And that's what I found that I did for so much of my life, but acting was always there in the background. I kept kind of inching closer and closer to being in front of the camera over the years, like through university and studying art, doing these small things for myself each step of the way until finally, and I mean, now acting is kind of all I've got. So, it's what drives me now, and it's what is my life.
Same. And yeah, it's what we eat, breathe, live, eat, and everything. So I saw that you started, I think, with stage. I did a little bit of stage, but there's such a commitment, I'm sure with in regards to the stage rehearsals, then doing TV camera work, film work, where you do a couple takes and then you're good and you can forget about the project. Can you tell me differences or just what you may love more in regards to stage as well as acting for film and TV?
I love the thing about stage and theater that I love is that it's consistent. There's a part of me that still plays into some of these societal norms of just wanting to work. And I want to work, but I want to work as an actor. And the thing that I love about stage and theater is that you go in every day, whether it's that part of that initial, 4 to 8 week or whatever rehearsal process or workshopping till you have your final run. And just being able to go to work every night is the consistency of it is something that really appeals to me. But at the same time, too, doing film and television work or commercials for that matter is also a blast because you're there, whether you're there for a day or a few days or a couple of weeks on set, it becomes this little family, same as theater. And I love that. I love that sense of community and the sense of camaraderie that we're all putting together. We're all coming together to create a show or to create something magical.
Love it. And completely agree. It's a drug and we need it constantly. And I would say with the stage, that instant input, that instant gratification, whereas you have to sit for a while and you never know when a particular film or TV project is going to drop. And if you'll make the final edit, I know that in some recent Netflix work I've done, didn't even make the cut, made the credits, but didn't make the final cut. So can you tell me just some stories of acting that, lessons you've learned along the way that you pass on to other fellow actors and people that prod you for what can I do to make myself better?
Gosh, I think to make yourself better is always to improve yourself. Whether it means taking a class or working with a coach, just keeping your instrument, which is your body, yourself, your voice, your entire being, keeping it in tune, and keeping it trained so that at a moment's notice you can bust out into a character, or at a moment's notice you can do that thing. That's makes you special, that makes you stand out, that you can turn a performance like that. You know, I think my training, I love cold reads because there's something really egalitarian about it. But I love just being able to take something, just improvise immediately and just going off of those first instincts. And when you're in tune and when your body is ready, you can do those things and you don't feel self-conscious and you don't feel nervous about it at all.
You know, you got me rethinking cold reads now. Like, you know what? Just knock it out the park. Because sometimes I just fear because I question what they want. You know, like when you get it, you get the sides and like, oh, but you know what? Just create it yourself. And then, you know, you just had me rethinking that. So my apologies. You got me sidetracked on a tangent now with that, just to have a new perspective about that. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to just kind of bring in that I love about you and that we need more representation in the world is you with you being LGBT. Fire Island dropped, I believe, last year, an amazing project that I think is that I hope is going to pave the way for more LGBT representation. And also in regards to us as Asian Americans, as of this recording, we're getting Joyride, which I had the pleasure of seeing not too long ago, that I think is going to do wonders for Asian women and our community, and that we can also be vulgar. We can do hangover type films, but we never get those kind of roles. If you can speak on that, just in regards to LGBT representation as an actor, and also how that Asian influence is so important in that regard as well.
Again, it comes down to representation, and you know, we are part of this community just as much as anyone else, and to see ourselves reflected means a lot. So to have something, I think what was so revolutionary about Fire Island was that you not only had the one token Asian, you had a couple. You know, it wasn't just this idea of tokenism. It was this idea that, you know, multiples of us can exist in one place in one time and in any one project. And it's to show that we know. I have to quote this thing. I have to quote Larry Kramer, you know, a great gay playwright. It's all there, all through history. We've been there, but we need to claim it and articulate who is in it, and articulate with our hearts and our minds all of our creative contributions to this earth.
Yes, I love it. Completely agree. What more do you want to do in the medium? Have you found the role of your dreams yet? And what is that role?
I haven't found the role of my dreams yet, but it sometimes feels like I'm getting close. Okay. There have been some recent projects that have wrapped up recently that are coming out pretty soon. And speaking of Asian representation and gay Asian representation, I have a great web series coming out soon called The Disappointments. Season 1 is already out there on YouTube, and it stars Getty Watanabe. You know, we want to talk about nerds of color and going back old school. You know, he's one of the OG nerds of color. And he's been around for so long, and he has this amazing part. And I get to work with him in the second season of this show, and it's amazing. That's been a great role.
Oh, I love that. I'm not familiar, but now you have me wanting to dive and look once we get done. Can you tell me and my audience more about what The Disappointments is about?
The Disappointments is about a trio of older male friends. They're all gay. But, you know, they're kind of middle-aged or maybe a little beyond, like maybe in their 50s or in some cases, maybe early 60s. And they're not quite where they want to be in life, which is, you know, why they're called The Disappointments.
I can totally relate with that. Okay.
And I don't want to give any spoilers, but, you know, I have this great storyline with Getty's character. So it's going to be funny.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to actually go try and check out season 1 once we get done.
Yes, season 1. Every episode of season 1 is available on YouTube, and we're trying to finish up season 2. So I'm sure you can find a link to it through my Instagram to support season 2 and to try and get us through post-production, because we've got 8 episodes shot already, and we're just trying to finish them up.
Yes, congratulations, Jason. Excited for that. Are there any other projects that we can also look forward to from you soon?
Yes, you know, the pilot that I mentioned before, where I get to play a romantic lead, you know, shudder the thought, just made it through Dances with Films. It's called For Years to Come, and it's actually going to be playing at LA's Outfest as well. Wonderful. And if you can't make it to Outfest, which is LA's biggest LGBTQ film festival, you can also stream it at home from certain dates. as well. And I also have the link through my link tree on Instagram too.
Excellent. I'm going to put all of that again, everybody, in the description below. So once you get done with this, please go over, follow Jason on all the things. I'm going to go look for disappointments, and I'm going to go stream for years to come. I'm excited, Jason. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and your time. One of the big things with Nerds Rule the World, because again, we are home of nerds, we're proud nerds, but we also can create films and do acting things like I said, that's what I do, and I'm happy to have you on and share. But what I'd like to find out is what you're nerdy about, and it could be anything. I'm curious, if you were to give a TED talk on something you're passionate about, that you're nerdy about, what would it be?
Comic books.
Really?
And you know, I have this thing for basically DC and Marvel superheroines, mostly of like, the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Fill me in. Who are some of your faves?
She's currently got a limited series out right now, but I love Hellcat on the Marvel side.
That's a deep cut. Okay, so you're a real nerd. Go ahead, Jason. Hellcat. What else we got?
Hellcat. Let me see what else. I love the old Ms. Marvel Rogue debate, back in the day. Now she, of course, Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel, but I just love that whole crazy story arc that she has had over the decades. Yeah. And her really somewhat ambiguous, you can read a lot into it, relationship with Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Yes. Love that.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Would you love to be in a Marvel project there, Jason? I think all of us would love that and get our own action figures and everything, right?
Who wouldn't, right? But there are some amazing DC adaptations that are out there now too. I wouldn't mind being in the Sandman.
Hey, let's go. Let's put that energy into the world. Some Vertigo titles. Awesome. Jason, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you sharing. When Disappointment Season 2 drops, please, let's come back and talk all about that new season and for years to come once that's, I guess, gains a wider release. And would love to highlight and talk all about the things with that project. Again, thank you and congratulations with everything you're doing. House Fire with your late husband. I think that is so beautiful. Definitely going to have those links in the description below so that people can go and order the book, and also follow and subscribe to all the things. Jason Wong, appreciate your time, sir. It is a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you again so much for doing this, because nerds of color are going to rule the world.
Definitely. Yeah. Jason Wong, y'all, make sure you follow and order the book in the description below. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Appreciate you guys.